Next, let's create a full program which uses dynamical arrays. Let's say that we have a task like this, that ask user how many integers they want to create those integers and set the last one 1 to 2014. So user might ask, okay, I want 200 integers, so the 200th item will be set to 214, and then we can print it also. So obviously the array must contain so many items. We have to allocate 200 items if they ask 200 items. If they have asked 10,000 items, we need to create an array with 10,000 items in it. So let's start. First, because we need to create dynamical array, we need the pointer. So let's first create a pointer, and it's gonna be integer type of pointer because the items are going to be integers. So this pointer is now ready to point to the array later on when we create it. So we're just making it ready now. So first, it's always good practice to initialize it to 0 pointers, so we know that it's not pointing to any valid memory location. And then we have this user value. We are going to ask a user an integer. So the user will type on console window, user will type some kind of value, that how many integers they want. So we're going to store that value into this variable. So let's initialize to 0 first. And then we have this loop, do while loop here, because we are going to ask the user at least once. So we're going to do while loop. So we're going to run this loop as long as the user value is greater than 0. So we're going to tell the user that when you want to end this thing, so it will repeat asking new value, and then it will allocate the new memory. It will repeat this as long as the user types a positive integer. So the program ends when the user types 0 or negative. So it goes here inside the loop, and here we are checking first that is the array empty or does it have items, because we need to create a new array here, because the user is gonna type a new value. So the old array must be deleted first, because how it works in C++ that we can't add to the end of the array. It will be difficult task trying to somehow combine arrays or doing complex things like that. So what we do normally in C++ is that we delete totally the old array, and then we will create a new one from the scratch. So we will first delete the current array if it exists, and this if here is checking that does this array exist. If A is null, like here, it means that it does not exist, so we don't need to delete anything. But if A is pointing to some memory locations, then A is not nil, and it will go inside this if block, and it will execute this delete. And as we remember from last video, this one deletes the array. We are deleting array A here, and just in case, we are immediately setting it to point to 0, so that we know that it's not pointing to any valid location at the moment, because we just deleted it. And then we're gonna go here and we're gonna ask the user that please enter integer which describes how big array you want to have. So the user types something. So this user value is gonna take that value. So this one contains now whatever the user typed, what integer the user typed. And then we're gonna go to the if block here, and we are checking first that if what the user typed is greater than 0. Okay, this means that they want to allocate memory, they want to continue this thing. So now we're gonna first allocate that memory which was asked here. So this one will create a new memory, This one tells that it's going to be integer type of memory, integer length of memory, and this one tells that we actually want to create an array, so array of integers. And so this one here, this variable here, tells that how many items we want to allocate. So the array size will be this one. And then lastly, because the task was to set the last item to 2014, so we are doing it here. So A, and this is the index of the last item. So let's say the user type 200 here. So this will be 199, because array starts from 0, so the last item will be 199. So this is correct, and we will set it the last item to 2014, and then we are printing that last item, the same thing which is here. So this should print always 214 here, and then we're gonna go to the end of the while loop, and we're gonna check this condition that did the user type a positive number. If they type positive number, we will continue this loop, and we are going to ask a new number, and like last time, we will first always delete the old array because new array is coming. So we always need to remember when we set A to point to a new memory location, when we are creating a new memory, we always, very important that we have to delete the old one, because otherwise nobody is pointing to that old one, and otherwise it will start wasting the memory. Nobody knows about that. We are just consuming memory, and nobody can get access to that memory, and nobody can actually even delete it. So when A is now pointing to a new array here, before this, it's very important to delete the old array, or at least set some other pointer to point to it, so that can delete it later on. What I mean that some pointer must point to the memory location. We can't just set A to point to a new memory location when it was just recently pointing to another memory location, unless we delete the old memory location, what we are doing here exactly. So this is important part here, to clear the old memory first. And then let's say user type 0, so when user type 0, it goes here, and again we have to make sure that we are deleting the memory we just created, because it's possible maybe that when we come here, A still is pointing to some memory location which contains that array. So here we are checking that if it's something else than nil 0, this pointer, then we are going inside and we are deleting that array and setting again, we are setting it to point to 0 nil, so we know that A is not anymore used to point to any array in the memory. And that's it. Let's run this just to show that it works. Compiling and run, and now it's asking how many integers you need. Let's say we want this many. Now it created all those, it created 56,000 items, and it set the last one to that number. We can create another one, and it keeps working. And then when I press 0, the program ends. So this was the end of the tutorial, and now we can see that it's very useful, this dynamical array, and it will be difficult to do this with the fixed size array, because we would have to know what is the maximum size the user is going to ask. Let's say user asks 1000 items here. So what are we going to do with the fixed size? We will need to create a fixed size array of maximum, like something like this, so that it can take all the possible values, the array size values. So this will end this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye.